There we go. There we go. Good evening. I think we're
Morning.
live now. Good evening. Welcome to Raconteurs News, as we sometimes call ourselves. Raconteurs. We're just Raconteurs. That's all it is. Oh, hang on. Someone's sending me a message. That's not the Ade.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's telling me who we're on.
See, that notification thing works.
What's happened there? I just got like a big long.
Don't know.
That was weird. Very, very weird. Did you notice I put on the I put Lee Garrett on the as the picture for the
I didn't actually know.
I put Lee Garrett on. I thought that'd be funny. Well, Lee Garrett. I mean, he's not funny. He's in Nosebleeds. Anyway, listen. We'll just fart about like we normally do and welcome people who are already here in the chat room. Midnight Gardener, Ron Malcolm, Midnight Gardener again, Richard Kinsit, Gary Ord. Good evening to you all. They all say good evening to you as well, AD. And I think we had somebody. I'm getting a comeback on you.
What, you getting echoes?
Yeah, just me. I think.
Just let me. Bear with me a moment, darling. I've just got a notification that we're on as well. Works then. Right, talk to me now.
Yeah, I'm talking to you now.
Is that any better?
That's better. That's completely better.
Is that any better?
It's better. Completely better. It's done.
Cool. Look at that. How good am I?
I'm
getting technical now.
Superb.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake, why does you turn a computer on and you had it on for ages and loads of shit just pops up that it wants you to do? What the fuck do you want to do that? Why do I don't want to do that? Oh, fucking computers, man.
Yeah.
Computers, they are fucking utter fucking wank, aren't they? So, how are you getting acclimatized back home then?
Well, I just find it more and more difficult to be here. And I know that sounds stupid, but I don't know. A lot of stuff got to happen for me, but first thing is we've got to get these bloody politicians who really don't decide anything to get up and hurry up and decide. Really.
They're not doing anything, are they?
No.
They're not doing anything at all. It's I mean, from looking in, I've completely. I sometimes look in from side and have like looking through curtains at the fucking circus that's going past outside. The fucking clowns and the tigers. You might be afraid of fucking tigers or something, but you peep through curtains, and that's that sort of thing that I've been doing, peeping through into mainstream media.
I tell you what, they've very cleverly, blatantly, and almost insultingly done. They've just kept it going and going and going and going and going. So that they actually get people saying it's the usual thing. We're fed up with this now. Can somebody do something? So
Yeah.
what they've got it to the point where somebody's got to do something because we're sick of this. So much to the point people are just going, I just don't want to know anymore. I don't even want to know whether it's happened or not. And they've just beaten them down and beaten them down and beaten them down and not done anything for so long that everybody's just got, I mean, for 3.5, 4 years.
It's been 3 years.
Brexit has been on every news thing for, I mean, bloody hell, they kept Diana's story going and going and going and going, but it didn't keep it going for that long. Not every day.
Apart from like one, I think there was one paper. Express kept doing these things, didn't it? And I think that was the whole point, because then the Express began to become a joke. Yeah. Nobody else were covering these things that they were covering, but they were covering them, and I think it was all part of fucking pantomime, really.
But the word Brexit has been in the news for that long that the people who watch the news have just got that sick of it, and it's like they're browbeat and just like bashed to death with this word. Then they come up with all these laws that have been here for hundreds of years, where different so-called official people can stop everybody going to work in Parliament so that he's got 5 days to work something out. And all this kind of theatre keeps then going on. And apparently, all these things are within the law, and they just have this complete farce. And so everybody's just to the point where, will somebody do something? Instead of them doing something, just switch it
What
off.
they've done is very, very cleverly, they've split the Brexit vote
Yeah.
between Conservatives and Brexit Party. And if Brexit Party and Conservatives got to, I've seen this, if they got together, then, I'm still hearing a little bit of feedback. I don't know what it is. Whether it's, just a little bit.
Let me try. Hang on.
Well, anyway, just to anybody that's just joined us, welcome along to Raconteurs. What do you call it? After dark, ranting after dark. That's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to be doing a little bit of ranting. We're just having a bit of chit chat while everybody comes into the room. We've got a few in at the moment, but I don't want to be one of them that goes, "Oh, I'm just going to wait." And you sat watching a fucking video that someone's done. You sat watching a video and what someone's done, and the first 5 minutes is them going, I'll just wait until more people get on, live stream. And I just think, fuck that, fucking hell.
Right, let's crack on then.
George as well, Alice Georgeson, good evening. Nice to see you in here tonight. How are you, Jason? Yes, I'm very well, thank you very much. It looks like I'm going to be losing another leg, but we're all upbeat about that, and things are getting, well, what can you do? You've just got to fucking get on with it, haven't you? So yeah, I'm feeling fine at the moment. I'm in good shape. I'm on some good painkillers at the moment. So last few days I wouldn't have been able to do anything because I was just in that much pain. And if I might show you my toe. Shall I show underside of my toe?
No, hang on. I've just got to warn everybody. I went to Jason's earlier to take him a bottle of Budweiser. And he said, look at my toe. Now, there's no guessing. It can only be on one foot because that's all he's now got. And then in the middle, there's just this black gangrenous toe. So in about 5 seconds, that's what you're going to see on your screen. So it's one of those, if you don't want to see it, look away now moments, because here we go. It looks even worse from that close up.
That's the underside as well. There's a load more on top side.
Yeah, I know. So no, right. It's safe to look at your screen again.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. It's safe to get from behind your sofas.
Yeah. Mind you, it is Halloween, isn't it? So yeah.
Well, it is. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put some red sauce on my fucking stump and then go to fucking. Anyone knocks on the door, I'm going to go to fucking in my wheelchair to the front door and go, kids, run for God's sake! They've chopped my leg off. Just
go late middle of your front garden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right, mate. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
Not a nice toe, says Ron Malcolm. No, it's not. Midnight Gardener says no, thanks. I've just eaten. So he's not she. I don't know. What can we do? Can we? Are we allowed to say he and she, or do we have to say some sort of fucking? It'll be when you go up to somebody and you say, "Hello, sir," and then you'll have to say, "I caution you, but I called you sir because that was what I saw. But do not take it in." That's some fucking thing that like coppers read when they've nicked you. You'll have to read that out. It's just getting fucking stupid, isn't it?
Because it doesn't really matter, does it?
No, it doesn't really matter now.
It's just, it's a skin, but anyway.
It's a what?
It's just a skin, innit? It's, we've just got this skin on the outside of this squashy bits on the inside.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and all these skins are different. And the worst thing is when people get... looks like Jason's laptop crashed. So he'll be back in a minute, I think. Well, I hope he will anyway. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm assuming we're still on because I've got nothing to tell me any otherwise. What I was going to have a rant about today was, as anybody listening who's ever listened before will probably know, I'm not a kind of sports guy. Either in doing or watching, apart from ice hockey. And I don't know why ice hockey has grabbed hold of me, but it has a long time ago. And it's the only real sport that I go to. So last night, Sheffield Arena, watched the game, local team won, everybody happy. And of course, then you've got all the staff who work actually at the arena, the safety people, etc. Anyway, last night there was a big raffle for all the shirts that the players had worn in that game. So there's a big crowd that I couldn't get through to go to the toilet. So I thought, I know, I'll just go out the building, round the door, and then back in the next door and straight in the toilet, because it's kind of logical, really. And as I walked in, back in, I heard this big booming voice who had never thought of common sense or reason, booming, "There's a policy. There's a policy. You can't come back in building once you've left building. Once you've walked out them doors, we've got a policy, and I'm sick of it." And I turn around thinking, what's this guy's actually talking to me? And I just said, well, I've got a policy of not taking a piss on the floor because I'm going to the toilet. But you've been out. You can't come back in. There's no, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Yes, of course you can use the toilet. It's very obvious that you've been here tonight because you're in a bright orange shirt that only an ice hockey fan would bloody wear. So it's a bit obvious that, anyway. But no common sense, nothing like that. And it's just everywhere's got a policy because the people either assume that the maggots that they've employed are that low paid that they're never going to attract anybody who's got any common sense. So they've got to have a policy with absolutely no common sense, no grey lines, grey areas. It's all black or white. You can't come back in. Oh, sorry, I've just had his head's just been caved in by a bunch of thugs, but we can't bring him. We can't drag him back in because because it's not policy. And there's no common sense. It's just everybody's got a policy. A policy. My local supermarket. Every time I get to the end of the thing, they want to spin my trolley round. And I'm thinking, no, it's my trolley. But we've got a policy. I don't care what your policy is. I must have missed the customer training day. I'm really sorry. I want my trolley that way around because then I can load it easier. And they get really off. We've got a policy because it come from head office that we've got to turn your trolley. Why? Well, I don't know. What do you mean? We've got a policy. It's like common sense has just gone. It has just gone. The other one in the shop put me shopping on. There weren't much, 20 or 30 quid worth or whatever. And there was a bottle. It might have been a bottle of beer. It might have been a bottle of ketchup. But there was a glass bottle that I'd put on the conveyor thingy. And the first thing the woman said to me, and normally it's either, if you're in a posh supermarket, you get, "Would you like any help with your packing, sir?" Which is polite and, it's good. If you go to the local co-op, it's, "Do you want a bag?" And in this instance, you didn't get any of that. There was nothing happening. Nothing whatsoever. She just said, "You do know I don't have to serve you." I'm sorry. She says, "You do know that I don't have to serve you." And I went, "Well, of course I know that you don't have to serve me, but why wouldn't you serve me? You've got your glass bottle stood up." "I'm very sorry. I must have missed the customer training day. You must get all your potential customers in tomorrow and give them a training session on laying glass bottles down. I'm really sorry." But there's just this policy. And nobody knows why this policy is there. But because my boss told me that there's a policy, we're going to follow it to the letter because there's a policy. There's no common sense. I mean, maybe it is common sense to lay a glass bottle down. So put a big sign up saying, "Please lay your glass bottles down." I don't know. But there's just no common sense. And what the other one I heard today, and this is what I really wanted to have a bit of a rant about, is Radio 2 today. My car radio tends to sort of be on, but the volume turned right off. So I don't know why it's even on, but it's on. And today I just turned it up. I don't even know why. I turned it up, and they were having a conversation about airport security. which, as you know, is one of my pet hates. But the BBC, bless them, they'd got an Irish lady on, and she quite rightly commented. She was of a certain age, I think 50s, 60s years old. She said, I know all about security levels because of, living in Northern Ireland. You thought, oh, okay, so they'd got her on. And then this woman came on, and she'd been through this airport security. Forgive me, I don't know which country or city, I don't know. And she got a 3 or 4 year old child, and they'd actually separated mum and dad from child so that they could ask the child all these questions about mum and dad without mum and dad knowing. And it just got absolutely ridiculous. And the kid's going to be bloody traumatized, 3 years old. It's probably the first time it's ever been, out of 5 yards distance from his mother. And there they are, intimidating a family, and doing that and actually separating mums and dads and kids. And it's just world gone mad. Did your laptop go off, mate?
Yes, which is why I'm on this other laptop here. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you, yes.
Yeah, which is why I'm on this other fucking laptop, this old laptop where I haven't got the screen's knackered on it, so I've got it plugged into the TV. You've seen that TV on my desk.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. I just, you know what it did on here? It froze, and I thought that you'd frozen. Well, that's what happened. I thought you'd frozen. So
no, you just dropped off, so I just kept talking.
Yeah, well, I've been listening. I had you on my phone on YouTube. So.
Oh, right, okay. Well, as long as you know what I've been ranting on about, and it's just this common sense. It's just like gone.
They're in it. They don't. It's not allowed. You can't have common sense.
And
it's allowed. It's far too luxurious for people like we.
Yeah. And how, you can say, "Oh, I'm sorry how you feel about this situation," but I can't say, "Oh, I'm sorry," if I happen to bump into your car and it were my fault, because my insurance company might have some way of wheedling out of it. It's just like, what? There's no, you can't be human anymore. You just got, because there's a policy. There's a policy.
Yeah, well,
you've got to stick to the policy. There's
a
policy. Once you leave Sheffield Arena, you can't come back in.
It's look. It's the same as the old fucking committee on the old working men's clubs.
Yep.
The committee's decided you're not allowed in. Oh well, fucking hell, fucking committee. Oh, I mean, just ask Heath. Heath has been doing for years. Has been doing clubs in North East and stuff. And he'll tell you they're so strict on what they do and what they have, and it's how it's been done for. It's probably how it's been done for many years. But when you get somebody who's a little bit more professional than that, then I think they should be able to adapt. But it's not his policy, and then they ring fucking bell and they say bingo. It's bingo time now, even if he's in the middle of a fucking song, even if he's fucking middle of a song, they'll fucking ring bell and they'll go turn him off, unplug him, and then bingo time. It's bingo time. Eyes down. It's a full house on the fucking green. Whatever, I don't know. 4 and 2. I did enough bingo calling in my time. I should really know. But I think I'm probably trying to preserve my little spasm of coolness that I've got left.
No, you don't. Oh no, you do, because you're an S Club 7 fan.
That's right, I am. I'm a proper S Club 7 fan.
Yeah, and for anybody who thinks that's a joke, it's not. He really is.
Oh no! I went to S Club 7's final gig at Sheffield Arena on my daughter's 18th birthday.
There you go.
That's how much of an S Club 7 fan I am. I love S Club 7. They're the best thing that ever happened.
But as we spoke about earlier today,
yeah,
there have been people who you've seen at the arena.
Yeah, that we don't talk about.
Oh, don't we talk about that? Okay then.
No.
Okay, that's fine. We'll not talk about that. So yeah, my thing with the the people who are like, I feel they're genuinely there to help you. At the arena, they got like a bright yellow uniform on, and they're just. What always makes us laugh is you can be there watching whatever you're watching, And then all of a sudden, this bright yellow jacket will run all the way up the stairs, stop, look round, and then run all the way back down again. And these are all over the building, and I don't know what they're looking for.
They're looking for people who have actually paid to enter and watch people skidding with sticks in their hands and a little like I don't know what it's a puck in it, but what?
It's a puck.
But it's an Oreo in it. It's just a big Oreo. Whacking it about and that. And listen, to me, I didn't mind it because you know when I grew up, there were no football on telly. So when Grandstand were on, you had to just cling to anything that resembled football. So I remember watching hockey, men's and women's hockey at Wembley Stadium all them years ago when they had. And I can remember in the women's hockey, because the screams from the crowd were so loud and so fucking high pitched. What they had to do was they had to fucking have this like thing that come through speakers that went so that people knew that they were actually a foul on. So I used to like scramble. I'm sure there's many people around my age will have been scrambling about on a Saturday afternoon in the 80s, trying to find something worth watching, something that just resembled football. It didn't have to be football, just resembled it, because we were starved of football back then. But I don't mind ice hockey. I don't mind it at all. I don't think I'd be any good at it though.
No, I don't think you would. You'd be all right at basketball. No, you would. I don't know why you should go do that. Wheelchair basketball.
Don't bother with me fucking stumps, eh?
Eddie Edwards, Mark II.
Yeah.
No, so they have these like. Then I don't think they're security people. They're more, a gentler conduct than that. And one of my pet hates is, if you go and pay and see something, people who fucking walk about while it's on. Because I ain't paid to look at the back of anybody's head. So if anybody ever goes to the Sheffield Arena and they hear somebody absolutely screaming, sit down, not sit down, please, it's probably me. But these like people who I'm describing who work at the arena, they're like they do all these like safety checks. But if there's anybody wandering around while the bloody game's playing, they don't even say anything. In fact, they'll walk up and down the steps when it clearly says, don't walk about. It's written on the ticket. Anyway. These are the kind of security, but not really security people that I'm on about. This guy who screamed at me last night, you can't come in because there's a policy. And all I'd done was literally, so these are the ones. And I'm not going to go and ring the arena or ring, I know it's Showsec, the company. I'm not going to go and ring them and, lose this guy's job or anything. Because I'm just not going to do that. And I've got a picture of his ID badge. Because I was a bit pissed off, All I've done is try and walk around a crowd that just happens to mean going out one door and then back in another to get to a toilet. And I'm being screamed at. Not, sorry, sir, I'm afraid you can't come in. And then we can start and have a discussion. He just went, you can't come in. There's a policy. Once you've left building, there's no... I don't know.
Well, you see,
what no common sense.
If someone's gone out, then they're not allowed to let them back in. But what they've done is they've then said to them, but use your discretion. Because it might be a kid, a father going out to get his medicine for his diabetic kid who's in there. Who's just had a fucking big bag of spice.
And needs his insulin.
Yeah, needs his insulin. And then he can, but that's, they can't do that. You can't do that. All it's got to be black and white. And if you've gone out, you can't come back in. If your name's not there, you can't come in.
I think part of the problem is that the industry that says that we need that sort of staff is run at such a tight budget that the salary that people get for doing that job, it's not a great deal for the amount of responsibility they've got. I don't think it is, because they're the people who are going to guide you out of a building like that if it's on fire.
Yeah, of course, yeah. They're the people you're looking towards.
Yeah, of course you are. It's a big responsibility. But
yeah, but the big responsibility, but no training, no incentive, really. I mean,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think they do get safety training and whatever, but how can I put? I don't want to insult them. However, the sort of wages that industry gets away with being able to pay, which is little more than basic wage, the absolute bottom, thinnest amount of money they can get away with paying. And as far as I'm aware, a lot of them be on 0 hours contracts and that sort of wage is not going to attract anybody who's got enough gumption to really do the job well. So there's got to be all this policy.
Well, that's it. What you do is you get people that are the least skilled. In fact, they might not even be the least skilled. I mean, you might get somebody who's come over to this country who back home in wherever he came from, India or wherever, or might have been a doctor, but because we don't recognise that he's coming to this country, and because perhaps we don't recognise his qualifications, he's now working in as a steward, essentially. Is what they are, aren't they? They're not.
Yeah.
So, he's working as a steward on minimum wage, and they can do this, and they can simply drill in, and this is that. If this arises, we've got to do that, and if this is right, and if something arises that you don't know the answer to, then you need to get in touch with somebody. And so they've got no wiggle room, because it's presumed that they've got no common sense. That seems to be a presumption.
Yeah.
For every job, that nobody's got any common sense. And that's what they want. They want people without common sense.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you did right. I think they actually do want, because they just want people who are not going to ask questions, and not going to ask why, which I think is quite a reasonable question, really. Why?
Well, yeah, and of course, what's that? I lost my fucking track there. When you were talking about, now it's gone. My memory's terrible. I've started writing stuff down. I've got loads of stuff that I've written down on here that I wanted to
crack on then. Go on.
That I want to rant about.
Pick one off your list.
Well, first I want to put one on. I've got one on my list that somebody's put in the chat room. Someone asked a question in the chat room. Now, he said it were Midnight Gardener, and he, she, or it, or thee, or P, or we, or poo, or you, said, have we heard anything about the 3/11 Seattle false flag? So I'm assuming that's 3rd of November rather than the 3/11, because it's America. A 3/11 would have been 11th of March, which would have been a real. But I've not heard anything about this Seattle false flag. Have you heard it?
No, not anything. No. No. And I find false flag really interesting, because I think it's something you said to me a long time ago, which is either make it happen anyway or let it happen anyway.
Yeah, my hop or lie pop. No, it's lie hop. Make it happen on purpose is my hop, and let it happen on purpose is lie hop. That's they were the two things that people were debating between. It was one of the two different things people were debating over 9/11 for many years. But yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I think because of the people who are likely to listen to me and you have got a similar outlook on a lot of things as me and you, than government and money and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And because of that, I don't know. It's when you've got the big, when I look at a false flag and everybody's screaming false flag, false flag, false flag. A few years ago, I would have been going, yeah, it's definitely a false flag. Now I'm more kind of, okay, is this a real false flag? Have they made it? Have they made this happen on purpose? Or have they just kind of let it happen on purpose, or even take advantage of what's just happened? Whereas, 2 or 3, 4 years ago, I'd have been, oh, must be a false flag. If something like, but now I'm not more skeptical about how the information has been used to somebody's advantage, not at all. And there are definitely, absolutely, 100% false flags caused by and done by government, and I would say more than the majority probably. But I'm now more. Did they actually cause that, or have they just taken advantage of it, or allowed it to happen and then taken advantage of it?
Yeah, that's easy enough to do, isn't it? You just infiltrate and then fund some group somewhere, whether it's Basque separatists in Spain or something like that. It would be easy to do.
Well, if you had I don't know, when they sort of redraw maps, and there might have been a tribe of people living in a particular area for 2,000 years, and then they come along, some politician draws a cross right through the middle of it where 4 countries come together, and all of a sudden, this particular group of people are chopped into 4. And then, 80, 100 or whatever many years later, when all these uprising happens, they wonder why. Because some politician decided to chop up, families, literally.
What's I know we've got I just before I just say this, I just wanted to say whilst she's still listening to us, a big hello to Alice Georgeson, who Alicat George, as she sometimes is known. That's how she's known on Facebook, I think. Anyway, it's glad to see you. It's good to see you back. I know you used to come, and you've not been for quite a while. I've noticed a couple of your posts on Facebook. You seem to be going through a bit of a difficult time at the moment. So all the best to you, and just keep listening to what's in your heart. Really, keep listening to that, and don't let any outside influences, including us, make you think any different. So anyway, this general election, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is the purpose of it, and what do you think the point is, and who do you think is going to win?
Can I answer the question I'd rather answer?
Go on, answer that one.
Why does anybody still believe in it, that any of this is real?
Yeah, but I know that. We all know it's not real, right? What I'm trying to say, it's for instance, right? Let's just say me and you were sat together, not in pictures, holding hands on back row or all like that, but just sat together watching a film. And then we pause it. And I said to you, what do you think is going to happen next? And you make a judgment on what you think is going to happen next in that based upon what you've seen before. And so would I, but there'll be different interpretations. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I'm not endorsing this fucking useless facade. I mean, if it's democracy, I don't want it, because it's not fucking what it's meant to.
Well, I'll tell you how daft it is. We've got the Liberal Democratic Party, who now apparently would vote against Brexit, and they're the Democratic Party who believe in democracy, but when a democratic vote said that they wanted to leave the European Union, and yet the Democratic Party are going to vote against that.
Well, you can see that it's easy to pick it apart like this, easy peasy to pick it apart like this and say, look, they're called Liberal Democrats. They when a democratic vote happened, they're we all know the fucking politicians. We all know they're hypocrites. We all know they're called Labour, they're called Labour. None of them have done a fucking day's work in their life, apart from perhaps, what's his face? John Prescott, who fucking worked up in,
that Fishman.
Yeah. And so none of them worked a day in their life. They're called fucking Labour. Conservative, they're not conservative. They fucking blow money on everything except what's fucking needed. So they blow money on themselves and tax breaks for the fucking mates and all this shit, and everyone else gets left to fate over what's left. It's just it's easy to say that, but what I'm trying to ask you is, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the end of this movie scene that we've got going on?
Let's talk about the movie scene then. They'll end up where the general election will end up where I think Corbyn and some others have to get together to make another coalition government. Right, that's what I think.
You think Corbyn will have to?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This will be, but then they'll talk about having more and more and more about Brexit, and I honestly believe that all of this theatre is so that they can. It might take 10 years, and they'll want to get that much mileage out of it. They've had nearly 4 years now. And as this all plays out, it's just used as this huge big theatre that's up in front of you to stop you seeing what's really going on. But I think what they'll end up with is the end result of, nobody who ever really wanted to come out of Europe once they knew, so that they can keep this central control. I don't believe that Brexit will ever happen. And really, it just exists between people's ears because none of it's real.
Well, what you're saying is, and I agree with you. Fundamentally, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I think I just phrase it like this. I think this film's going to end the same way that every fucking film that you've ever watched, you know how it's going to end. You know how it's going to end. You get these fucking people and the sort of struggle and then death and fucking idea. But you know how it's going to end. You know it's going to end a certain way. And that's the same with this. We know it's going to end a certain way. And it's just, is there going to be a twist in the tale? Are they going to put a twist in it or something? Because this is, let's face it, this is the biggest stage show ever fucking show in the world. It's been going on now. The actual stage show has been going on for 3.5 years.
You see, but what we've got to look at is
to fucking consider the before the Brexit, before the referendum, when all the electioneering were going on.
Can you remember? When Diana died, right? Or was killed, or whatever your bag is. It was almost like there was no other news for months, as if nothing else, or all the other things that are going on in the world had stopped because nobody was reporting on anything other than Diana-related stories for months.
Which is understandable.
Yeah, absolutely. But that gave a lot of bad news, bad stories, things that would have normally hit the headlines and shamed somebody into, leaving the politician or what. There was an awful lot of bad news that was buried during that time. Now we've had Brexit that's been just bombards the news every day now for 4 years. So the other question is, what other shit are they sweeping under the carpet while everybody else is looking the other way, trying to work out what all these knobheads are going to do about Brexit?
Well, they're all feathering their own nests because they know they're all fucking done as politicians.
Yeah,
so they're all feathering their own nests. They're putting legislation through that would be good for companies that they're involved with and stuff like that. That's all they'd be doing. It's just a fucking. I'm going to hoard because I know this fucking gravy train's coming to an end.
Yeah.
So that is what they're going to be doing. It's I don't know. It's well,
the other one that's just reminded me. I think I was in Thailand, so it would have been about a month from now. It was probably about the beginning of October, and I can remember watching when they were trying to impeach Trump, and they're all sat in their chamber. And there's a stopwatch running on how many questions each person can ask this guy who's on the stand. And it was that guy they were trying to get to interview. And what he'd been allowed to say was what was in the report that Trump had presented anyway. He wasn't allowed to say anything else. So this guy was literally put up there to be grilled. And each person had got so many minutes to ask him questions. Or it might have been the other way around. People could ask this particular guy for, these questions for a certain amount of time. Anyway, whichever way around. But he they kept having this debate and this vote as to whether or not they should stop this clock that's running in order to decide whether they should stop the clock that's running. And it's just like they were having all these votes. But what it meant was, because of all this farce that was going on, this 10-minute that was on this clock where this guy could be asked these questions took about 4 hours because of all the other politicking in the room and people voting on whether they should stop this clock and oh no, we need to rewound the clock because that question he asked wasn't pertinent to the situation. And I have never seen such a complete, and there'll be all these American people going looking at that seriously and thinking that's normal. How is that normal? It's just this big theatre that's put up in front of everybody so that they can't see what's going on. But if you actually just take a step back from news and politics and all the rest of it, I think you can see where it's going. I mean, ultimately, it's one world government, one world currency, one world army. That's it, just one world religion. But
I think...
go on. I'm just going to say, if that's where they're going, there's no way they'll allow us or anybody else to leave Europe. Or the other thought is they could get rid of us, then make our life complete fucking hell, and where the pound's worth like nothing, till we're begging then to be back in Europe, and they go, see, told you so, to all the other countries that really want to get out, but they're just going to see what sort of kicking we get first. So whichever, they're going to use it. But if you actually see that, the whole game is rigged.
It's done.
But it's it is interesting from a soap opera point of view. But I can't watch the news and think that it's anything more than really a soap opera, because that's what it is.
Yeah, I can't watch it anyway. I turn it on sometimes just to see what headlines are, and it's usually some fucking nonsense. So and so fucking says Brexit would make. I even had people getting in touch with me and saying, what about though? There's going to be you in particular, because you're on so many drugs and stuff and what have you that's keeping you alive. What if there's going to be a shortage? If there's going to be a fucking shortage, there'll be a shortage, man. There won't be a fucking shortage. We're the biggest fucking spenders in fucking Europe, remember, as well. Well, perhaps us or in Germany.
But France. That just shows how much this bullshit they say on the telly influences what people think. Well, they've heard the word shortage. Shit. What we're going to do? And so because then everybody panics, then there would be. It's just like they've just weaponized people's thoughts against them. That's all they're doing.
Fucking already doing that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry, I've got to
Jason,
I just had to get me my bag of sweets.
Yeah. It's rather a large bag, sir.
Yes. Yeah. What else did I have done? Right, what I'm going to try and do, right? I'm going to try. I've had this fucking idea, and I've thought about it, and I thought, well, this is right. This is right. I'm going to try and have wheelchairs renamed as pushchairs. My wheelchair identifies as a pushchair.
Oh well, does it?
It does. It identifies as a pushchair.
I know what I did want to ask you. What does Colin identify as?
He's, I don't know. I haven't asked him. I've seen him for fucking ages. He's run off, I think. Little bastard. I don't know where he is, actually. Well, and this as well. Somebody who Danielle works with sent me some M&S shortbread, because she knew I'd been in hospital and everything.
Oh, yeah.
M&S shortbread.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, right, this is shortbread. Everything's shortbread. Right? So, Why are they different shapes? What is it? Is it for, like, you think, oh, I fancy a fucking, like, triangle today. Oh, I'll go over here. Because they all taste the same. They're just in different shapes.
So what you're saying is that there should be more like a cracker or a biscuit?
Well, just all bit same. If they're all same, because the same biscuit, but they're not. They're in a. No, who said? Who said? Oh, you know what? I really fancy a bit of shortbread, but it's got to be shaped like a 50p piece. Who said? Whoever said that?
I mean, you know, if you were offered 5 pieces of
I've only
shortbread.
got seashells. Oh, have you only got seashells? Well, I won't bother then. Fuck me. Fucking different. And then M&S probably it probably cost about £7 for them. But anyway, it's not that I'm just pointing that out. Yeah, I was very grateful because I do like a shortbread.
I have to say, were they at your house when I came earlier on?
Yes, they were.
And you didn't offer me one?
No, I didn't actually. No,
you did offer me a cup of tea though.
I did offer you a cup of tea, but not a shortbread. But I would have offered you a shortbread if you'd have said, have you got any biscuity type confection in the house? I would have said, yes, we've got some shortbread here. What shape do you want?
Well, I'm sorry, it has to be a finger.
Well, yeah, in your case, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. Oh, sorry.
Fucking shortbread finger.
Shortbread finger. Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate it when he does that.
Shortbread is a good method of robbing tourists, Midnight Gardener says. Yeah, cool, man. Yep, I think that's probably true as well. Yeah, it's got a bit of a deer on it and that. It's Scotch, obviously. Shortbread's Scotch, isn't it? It's just Scotch, isn't it?
Yeah, Scotland.
Yeah, 40.
You see, apparently short is some term in baking, which I don't know if it means sugary or buttery or it means something like that. I don't know. Well, I know nothing.
Well, did you know that somebody actually reached out to you in the chat box? Not in the chat box, in the YouTube comments section, asking the question. Yeah, I'll just have a look and I think we're on his last show, so we're going to have a look and find it and perhaps answer that question. But somebody also said that you look like a camp Russell Grant. How could you be a camp Russell Grant?
Fuck, that's like being said that you're almost like one of them two twins. It's like, how do you choose?
Listen, Eunice asking to come on, so we'll get him on in a bit. I'll get you on in a bit, Uni. Buemler. When we decide, we'll get you on. He wants to talk about. I think apparently they're planning a attack in Seattle, Uni. Yeah. So and 3/11 is also it is a synonymous day anniversary anyway, isn't it? It's in American. 3/11. That was 911 days after 9/11. It was that Spanish in the Madrid bombings. Remember that in the train station?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was 3/11. That was March 11th. But I'm assuming that must be 3/11 as in 3rd of November, which is on the horizon. And it is, of course. It's Halloween night tonight, isn't it? Have you had any trick-or-treaters?
Yeah, well, I did. But I kind of thought that the rule was if you put a pumpkin outside your house, you're inviting people to knock on your door.
Yeah.
But if you don't, if you're a miserable, sad, middle-aged, fat old bloke who lives on his own, and you don't put a pumpkin outside your house, it's kind of a signal that you're a fat, miserable old git like me who don't want the door knocking on. So earlier on, I'm expecting my neighbour to come and collect his dog because I dog sit a little bit. And big knock at the door, open the door, and it's kids there going, trick or treat. And why'd you knock on my door? I've not got any sweets. Because if I did, if I'd have bought sweets for you, guess what? I'd have ate them. They wouldn't have even made it between the supermarket and my house. I'd have ate them. So I didn't put a thing. But I have actually had 2 trick-or-treaters and I couldn't give them anything because I haven't got anything.
But well, I was going to stick red sauce all over my stump and then go and answer the door to trick or treaters and say, "Go away, kids! Run! It's coming!" But I went to before I even had a chance. I think it was only about 10 to 6, but some kids knocked on the door, and luckily I got some spice that our lass had bought yesterday for me. Oh, by the way, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? And now I've got one. Everybody, remember we were talking about these? Oh,
Dib dabs.
Dib dabs.
Sherbet dib dabs.
Sherbet dib dabs, yes. Live here on Raconteurs News. That's what came in my bowls. Anyway, so some kids came earlier on. I went to the door, and they're fucking greedy little bastards. They're fucking grabbing out of it, fucking loads. Not just like a bit, you know, or 1 or 2 or 3 sweets or something like that. Fucking grabbing a lot of them. So I thought, that's it. I'm not answering the fucking door anymore. So my Jimmy Savile poster went up in window, and I didn't get nobody else coming.
You should have sat outside like Uncle Fester.
I should have, shouldn't I? I mean, I were going to strap like what we're going to do is we're going to put some pieces of bacon on my leg and cover them in red sauce so that it looked like, you know, bits of wound flesh coming out of the bottom of my stomach.
So it looked like my leg.
Yeah, but then I thought, you know what had happened, don't you? If I fucking did that, you can guarantee I wouldn't have any trick or treaters.
Yeah.
I'd just have a fucking mess all over everywhere.
No, you'd have a dog following you around.
I'd have a fucking wheelchair covered in red sauce. Let me get uni on anyway. Shall we get uni on or what?
What else is on your gripe list? Haven't you finished your gripe list?
There were loads of things, man. Do you know? Oh, the fucking scissors. NHS with scissors. I was telling you about this, wasn't it? Do you know how many fucking pairs of scissors I've got? What happens is, when you're in NHS, when you're in the hospital or all like that, the scissors are changed every single time. So you get a new, whenever they're doing anything, they put a new bandage on you, they do anything, it's a brand new pair of scissors that comes out of a packet. And it's, I've got fucking, look at these. I've got like all these, I was picking them up when they were leaving them behind. And I was saying, we can't use them again. And I thought to myself, right, so every single time somebody has to use a pair of scissors in hospital, then that is a new pair of scissors. So you imagine how many times in each hospital and how many pairs of scissors you're going to have. Then I thought to myself, all I want the contract to supply scissors to the NHS because it's just fucking never ending. It's gone so fucking far that a nurse can't use her own scissors. They have to open a packet of scissors for every single fucking thing that they do. So
in the hospitals, they're not autoclaving them every night then? They just keep disposables?
Yeah, they're just these, and they leave them on your bed when they're finished. And I kept picking them up, putting them in my fucking thing. I thought, because I'm always looking for a pair of scissors, and I've got millions of the bastards.
Get them on eBay.
I even got one. Oh yeah, there's some yellow ones here. Look, yellow ones. I even got some of them fucking.
It's a bit like Postman and rubber bands.
Oh, where's that other fucking packet? I got another packet and all. Another one which were really good. I even got one of them. You know them right long, where they're right long and they've got a like little thing on end and they. Surgeon has. I had some of them. They just keep going away.
If you've not got any more in your gripe, let's get our friend from Washington.
All right, are you ready? What's his face? Right. Okay, I shall email him. Hang on a minute. Invite. So tell us a bit more about you. While we'll get waiting to get him on, tell us a bit more about your holiday. What anything good you saw? Well, I thought, all right. Good. You saw that you need to stick your dick in.
Oh yeah. But no, I've got a mate over there, and I met him over there, but he's English, and it's his 70th birthday, end of November. And he's awesome. He's manic, so he gets about 5 hours sleep a night, and that's it. You know, his brain's woke up and off he goes again, and you cannot keep up with him. And you know when people say things like, "Oh, You can't do that. His answer is, why not? I'm Mike Tidball. And his attitude is completely, what do you mean I can't do that? That don't make any sense. I'm just going to go and do it. Including, like, you know, towing a boat. And I showed you them things on my phone of him. Like 69 years old. The boat and the motor is packed up on the boat. And, you know, and he's there towing the boat, swimming through the water. And I just think, you know, of all the shit that we go through, you know, and there's a 69-year-old bloke who just thinks that that's normal to swim a mile, towing a boat in the sea. And it just shows, you know, some people have got the balls and some people don't. But, you know, all of us, we end up with, I don't know, not such good times. And you know that more than anybody, Jace.
Oh, well, my life's a fucking hoot. It's a hoot. Non-stop Mardi Gras, my life. So, yeah, listen, I've got this... I think I've got this, like, thing where rather than being angry with my legs for falling off, I'm more thankful for, you know, what they give me throughout my life. Because I have had some I've been in some major capers. I've done fucking things that people wouldn't even dream of doing. So, you know, this is, I think, is how I'm able to easily come to terms with it. Not easily, but I can come to terms with it, is because there's nothing else that you know. In fact, if I were a young bloke, this could happen to me when I was a young bloke, and I've missed a fucking load of my life. But it didn't. I got a load of my life, and I filled that much of my life in with loads of stuff. And now things are starting to fall off me. So I just like I like to be more thankful for what were there rather than be angry at. Because you can be angry at it, right? You know.
Well, as I've said to you, mate, I think I would be. But then again, you see, you know, you and I, we've actually got a bit of common sense and emotions, and that's a dangerous mix, isn't it?
How's it going, guys?
Here we go. I think we're going to have what's his face on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good evening. I'm here.
Yeah, it's the news has been up in arms lately, hasn't it?
Go on, talk to me about what?
Come on, tell us what do you think? What about the news? We've not been watching news, man.
Well, I don't watch the news either, but my parents do, and I usually have to walk by there every now and then. So it's I end up overhearing, and basically every time I overhear what they're watching, it's always CNN in particular, and they always are talking about something to do with Trump, or Russia, or Ukraine, or, you know, basically they're all part of the same story. Essentially, it's like, oh, Trump is going to get impeached. Oh, Trump has said that. Trump is doing this. Like, is that all they know how to talk about? Like, I swear, ever since the 2016 election, all they've been talking about every day has just been Trump this, Trump that. It's like, is that all you guys know how to talk about? Like,
see, really? As I said earlier, I think there's all this Trump mania and bloody Brexit mania has kept the mainstream media fed with this frenzy that's been going on, and it's, for me, it's what else is under what are they sweeping under the carpet that they're doing that we're not seeing?
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like Trump trying to buy the NHS. Well, you know, they nearly have anyway, because a lot of the NHS here in the UK is privatised anyway.
And on top of that, they also have the whole well, in the last couple of weeks, I believe the last couple of weeks, they've been talking about Rudy Giuliani and basically saying, oh, he did this with the Russians or the Ukrainians or whatever. And I'm just thinking, dude, Rudy Giuliani should have been hanged freaking years ago because of his role in 9/11. And you guys are just now freaking talking about him, like, because of this Russia nonsense.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, and that's another reason why I cannot understand why people are constantly There's some people who still say, "Oh, Trump is on our side. Trump is, he's trying to drain the swamp." Trump ain't freaking draining no swamp.
Of course he's not. He's a puppet like all the rest of them.
Yeah, if he was draining the swamp, why does he deliberately allow people into his cabinet that are not only are they Israeli connected, but they're also, just connected with so many different groups. It's ridiculous that we all know are part of the swamp. Rudy Giuliani is just one of them.
And what I've noticed as well is a lot of American politicians. One day they're the chief executive officer of some huge company, and the next day they're a politician. And then 2 years later they're back doing their old job again, and then they become a politician in a different department. And it's
like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What is it? I heard Arnold Schwarzenegger say he was being interviewed on something here in the UK last week that I saw, and he said, even when I was what was he? No, he wasn't congressman, was he? What was
Senator.
the senator?
The mayor of California.
Yeah, mayor of California. Yeah.
He said, "Well, even when I was perceived to be a politician, I didn't think of myself as a politician, because why should it be a political issue whether we want the facilities for this young group of people over here? Why is that a political issue? Surely it's just a case of just getting it done." And I thought, actually, coming from a politician, that's probably quite, as near as I'm ever going to get to actually respect somebody who does that.
Yeah, although I do not respect Arnold's decisions, because all the things that he's done, like all the things that he's been linked to, and things that he did as mayor, I'm just thinking, no, this guy is just as much as part of the swamp as the rest of them.
Of course.
But listen, I don't trust Arnold Schwarzenegger. For a start, he's got a racist surname, and I just don't know why anybody's never picked up on that.
Does he? What do you mean?
Schwarzenegger.
Oh.
He's there trying to work out why Arnold was thinking, how many black kids do I know?
Yeah. Why is Arnold racist?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's they're all puppet. It's all this puppet show. When you're talking about impeaching Trump, and they're all doing it in together. It's all like it's like a show. It's
the same old situation where it's all need to know, and people only need to know the bit that they're supposed to play. So
exactly.
No, is it? You didn't know that. That's not it, is it? It's not need to know. It's they're right in his fucking faces. That's why people like you and me. And what's his face over there? Bueller Taylor. Sorry, mate. I've just had terrible fucking brain freeze for the last couple of days. But it's people. I don't even know where I were now. Where were I? I told you I've been knackering up. My brain's just gone fully. Go on.
Politicians.
Yeah. Well, and I do like Arnold's movies. Well, some of them. Back in the 90s, at least, and 80s. Nowadays, you can't make a good movie to save his life. I mean, especially Terminator, particularly. Although that new one that just came out with Linda Hamilton reprising her role of Sarah Connor, I am interested in seeing that. To see if
you keep moving away. You keep moving your head away, mate. You keep going distant, and then
your microphone keeps dropping in and out. Have you got a headset you can put on?
Oh, sorry. Let me see
that's
if I
better.
There we go.
It's bad enough having to look up your nose, you know what I mean?
Sorry, I'm using a phone to go on here, so not a laptop or anything like that.
So tell me, you live at your parents' house and you don't have any income at the moment?
No, unfortunately.
Yeah. Is that
Is that? Do you put that on your dating website profile?
Dating website. Why do I need a dating website? I've already got Apple Charlotte.
yeah, of course you have. Yeah. Listen, and you're a good lad. I'm sure it will come. Listen, it will find you. Don't go looking for it. It'll find you.
Or just get a plane ticket to
in one place you didn't think it were, and then you'll realise that it's in the It's right there, and you'll get it. You'll get it, man. You're only how old are you now? About 42?
42, 25.
25. You're only 25, man. You're only 25. Anybody got any love advice for Taylor? Then please put it in the chat box. Thunberg again. That bird. Oh, not Thunberg. What's the perception of this bird? This girl who's gone over and told everyone that they're all cunts because
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg. Yeah, what's the perception of her in America? What do people generally think? If you say I don't know because I don't, then you should start going out and finding out before you come on shows like this.
Because you should be our American correspondent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm well. The thing is, surprisingly, I actually do have an answer to this, and this is just speaking from my own personal experience.
Yeah.
But as far as the mainstream media goes, they haven't been touching this at all. Really, it's just been Trump this, Trump that. Is Trump, Rudy Giuliani? What's he doing this week? And most Americans I talk to, they haven't even heard about this whole thing.
Well,
I don't know if it,
we're sort of led to believe that this thing's worldwide, and
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it blew up with a certain amount of people, and it was made to look bigger than it was. But then I think it just went back into the shadow, kind of like the Joker movie fiasco. Oh, it was built up, but now that the movie's out, no one cares about it anymore. Kind of like that. Does that make any sense?
I think people are realizing anyway, because it's kicking off all over the place. Like you said, it's not getting nowhere. It's in this country. She's got tons of attention. This Greta Thunberg. It's as though we're your. And I don't want this to sound patronising to Americans, but it's as though Britain is your older, more mature cousin, and so they fucking pour all shit off on us, and then if we take it, then it'll go over into America. And no, she's been in America, and so. I mean, again, that's just a stereotype that I believe. But believe me, I've got.
Well, I mean, it literally is true because we came from Britain in the first place.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, not all of you, but many of you did.
Yeah, the founding fathers did.
Well, I don't know about founding fathers, but anyway, that's by the by, innit? I mean, we're talking about when you're talking about this. It's fair. And what I'm saying is, America's fairly insular compared to what's because the shit going on all around the world. We've got Catalonia in Spain. We've got it going on in Paris. It's been going on for nearly 45 weeks, I think, that they've been protesting. Not a sliver of information on the mainstream media, none whatsoever. They poured over Hong Kong for a while because it's going down in Hong Kong as well. And then when it really got too fucking deep for them, then they backed away from that. But it's getting really, really bad in Hong Kong. There's lots of fucking police brutality and stuff that's going on that shouldn't be going on, and they're not reporting on that. So and I've also heard of other places where there's unrest and where people are rising up against the government. And I understand why the governments decide that it's not in their best interest to broadcast these images to their own citizens in case their citizens get any ideas. But I think the internet's broke the camel's back, and it's not like you can't you could probably keep the French Revolution under wraps for a certain amount of time, that nobody knew about it. But in this day and time, everything's so instant that that we're. I don't even know where we're going, where it's going to end up, because it's got to end at some point. It's getting more and more ridiculous by the day. More and more ridiculous. What did I see the other day? Some really ridiculous shit. And I thought, oh my God, this is news. I think it was someone's fucking, I don't know, left a fucking dildo on a seat on a train or something daft like that. It was something really daft. And I'm sat there and I'm thinking, for God's sake, just sniff it, man. See if it's been used. If it's not, it's all right. It's good. Get it home to the missus. Saves your job, doesn't it?
And the thing is, every time they come back from commercial break, the news, it's always like breaking story. breaking story this, breaking story that. Every single thing is a breaking story. Oh, Trump said this. Trump made some stupid tweet on Twitter. Oh my God, breaking news. Oh, this guy took a shit in the middle of the street. Breaking news. It's like,
No, that's Breaking Bad.
yeah.
Hey!
But,
Sorry.
It's like you said earlier. It's just a big soap opera, and that's also what I think of it. It's just one big giant soap opera. Like, if you watch the news, just watch it just so you can laugh at it. But the thing is, even at that point, it doesn't even become funny anymore because it's just gotten so unbelievably pathetic. It's gone full circle. It's not even funny anymore. It's just sad.
Listen, we've had a message in chat room from New Being, and she said she wants to ask you particularly what's happening outside your window. Like, what is real news, not in the media? So, what sort of real news is going on that might not be broadcast in the mainstream media? What is there anything interesting going on?
You mean where I'm at right now, like outside, like out on my street or whatever?
Well, no, I mean that was metaphorical, wasn't it? I hope that's fucking right. No, just out, just in your area in America. Anything that you've gleaned from independent media that you might have that we don't get over here. Is anything new going on? And anything? What about Jeffrey Epstein? Has that just disappeared? Because
that has completely disappeared. It just completely faded away. They're like, okay, we talked about it for 5 minutes, for like a week or so. Let's throw it away now, because we don't want to go too deep into the details or anything like that. So we're just gonna drop it. And apparently, the current the leader of ISIS has died, quote unquote, for the how many times now? Like at least 7, 10 times.
Fourth time. At least the fourth I know of. But I mean, let's face it, more than once, and you start to get a bit suspicious, don't you?
Yeah, pretty much. But the worst part about it is that freaking. Oh, sorry.
It's like when they'll get these people who've committed suicide, but them by shooting themselves in the head twice, locking themselves in a car, and then setting fire to it. And yet they committed suicide.
Yeah, kind of like what was it? Freaking Marilyn Monroe. They said she committed suicide. Although that was a long time ago.
No, I've never heard of him. Where's Marilyn Monroe from?
She was an old Hollywood.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
okay.
He was taking the piss.
I'm being a twat.
He was being a twat.
I brought up Marilyn Monroe because I was I've always been curious as to how she actually died because as we all know the suicide story is nonsense. There have been some huge stars in Hollywood that said that Robert Kennedy was the one that killed her, and I doubt that as well because I don't see a man like him doing something like that. Even if she did allegedly have a thing with JFK.
And JFK and RFK. She fucked everybody. She was a slag. Simple as that. So she did what she did to get to top, and good luck to her. Yeah, she was a slag, and I'm not using that as a derogatory phrase. I'm just saying she put herself about a bit. She was good to lads, as you say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She did a turn.
She were a party girl.
She were, and this is, but I agree with you. She had a lot of different people who she was involved in their lives, and I suppose with all the connections between Marilyn Monroe and Kennedy's and what sort of role she played, not that she played, but the part that his interaction with her had in his assassination eventually, not necessarily on the reason why they did it, but the planning in which they did it in, and then what
because she was involved in the same mafia, like the Chicago outfit and all that, like with Sam Giancana and all them, that were the ones responsible for the assassination.
Yeah.
So
there's many people come forward though and said it, aren't there?
And you got people like Frank Sinatra as well, or Cary Grant, Gary Cooper, people like them. Like all those big Hollywood stars from the mid 1900s, they were all huge mafia assets.
But a lot of this, excuse me.
You all right?
I've just got a bit of a cough on. I think I need a bit of a just wet me whistle for a second. Excuse me, listeners.
Are you drinking that Budweiser I brought you?
Oh, that's just what's made me cough.
Like I said,
when we're talking about JFK, and it reminded me when we had when Vinny Eastwood had us on our show. He mentioned that the Donald Trump's done nothing, all this, and talked about JFK thing, but Donald Trump has released a lot of JFK documents. There's a guy on YouTube, a professor called Jerry Croft, who goes through those very, very brilliantly. Goes through those. So, he were adamant, weren't he, that JFK had, the JFK files had not been released by Trump. Absolutely adamant on it, but wrong again.
I mean, who knows? Maybe they weren't released by him, but they just made it look like he did because they wanted to make people think that he's an hour guy.
No, they were released. He released him. He says he was going to release them, and he released them. It was just that there wasn't the big fanfare that they normally is for someone like that. It just came out, and it went out, and they were probably somewhere else where they were talking about Donald Trump's probably they found him staring too long at a fucking lingerie catalogue, so he should be impeached.
This is what I'm talking about with this big theatre. What else are they sweeping under the carpet? I think this is probably a good example of what else is actually happening, but they're just sweeping it away.
Yeah, but with the JFK files, I mean, there honestly wasn't even really that much revealed because it was so much redacted stuff. There was so many only like what 100th of all the documents were actually released, and of those released, a lot of the information was redacted, crossed out because you can't give us all the information for some reason, right? That should already be suspicious enough. Like, why are they withholding the documents? National security.
Yeah, well,
that's always an excuse.
Yeah, national security. No. National security.
Just like with the whole 9/11 files that they were planning, that they said they were going to release.
But why do this? Just put us off so that we're all happily looking. They'll release 50,000 pages of documents relating to JFK. A lot of it being redacted and stuff. But people will pour through that. They're giving us something to do. While, so we're reading fucking rules to game while some cunts fucking got bank. We were playing Monopoly. Someone's got bank and already gone past go 4 fucking times, and you're in bastard jail.
Yeah.
That's the way that it is. We can't fucking, we can't keep falling for it. It's easy to fall for. I know it's easy to fall for because it's telling you what you want to hear. People want to hear these things. They want to hear that that there's that JFK's killer is going to be revealed. It's not. It's never going to be revealed. Never.
Of course not. I mean, personally.
But then the same people, the same people will, in their head, know that the JFK thing they knew all along, and they've been lied to. But then they'll continue to believe the new stuff that they see on the news, even though it's coming from the same people. And where's the sense in that? And it's because everybody wants a good story, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I feel that, as far as the JFK story goes, I personally believe what Francis Richard Connolly did in his documentary. I felt like it was very old.
And what? Nearly 4 hours, isn't it?
3.5 hours, 3 hours 27 minutes.
Yeah. JFK to 9/11. Everything is a rich man's trick.
I really liked that documentary. It's actually one of the very first things I saw that when I started getting into this whole thing, and it really got me interested to look into more of all this stuff. So yeah, that documentary holds a special place in my heart in that regard.
I mean, for me, it's when you've got 3.5 hours is a long, but there's some great information in it. Really, really, and logical, explained very well. Not in a condescending manner, but in a way that you actually, gets the cogs turning. And I think if that was somebody's first introduction to this sort of thing, I think it's a bloody, you will look at a fall on that as your first, because it is. There's some really good stuff in it. But it just amazes me that people they'll want there to be a conspiracy to believe in, and then eventually it comes out as being true. But then they'll accept the lies that are coming from the same people that's to do with today's stuff. But yeah, common sense. We don't have that anymore, do we? Is it banned? Maybe it's like carbon. Maybe they're banning it. Common sense. That's the answer.
Oh, sorry, you guys cut out there.
We didn't. You did.
We didn't. Yeah, we didn't. You did.
Oh, hey, yeah, it must have been. Yeah, it must have been like my connection just having a hiccup.
Maybe your parents are actually using some of their bandwidth that they're paying for that you're stealing right now.
Hey, it's not stealing if I'm their son, right?
You got permission, haven't you? They give you permission.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was stealing, it would have to be like me being the guy across the street who was using my neighbor's Wi-Fi because of the gates. There are people.
Yeah. There's lots of people who do that over here.
I believe it. But about the JFK to 9/11, there are a couple of stuff that I actually personally do disagree with when it comes to it, particularly being
You're in and out again.
Oh, sorry.
Keep your mouth near the microphone.
There we go. Basically, there are a couple of things that that I do think could have been said in the documentary that wasn't said by Francis. Like for example, the whole what was it? What's that called? In 1962, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Yeah. He didn't mention the Cuban Missile Crisis. Also, I think he got the dates on a couple of the stuff he said wrong. Like, say, the assassination of Anton Chermak, the Chicago. He said that was in the Chicago mayor. He said that was in 1935, but that was in, I believe, 1933. But it's just minor stuff. It's not a big deal.
I'm sure. I mean, we've had Francis Richard Connolly on a couple of times in the past, and he's the sort of guy that if you pointed that out, he'd be more than happy to either be corrected or debate it with you.
Yeah, he doesn't come across as a snob who thinks that everything I said is fact.
He just genuinely wants information to be out there, I think.
Yeah, which really annoys me that his funding campaign didn't end up going through very well because it was sabotaged, and of course his YouTube channel being deleted and all that. I've actually been trying to ask people who've re-uploaded his movie onto YouTube. I've been trying to ask them like, hey, can you give credit to him at least in the description of the video or whatever, because he's the one that made it. This random dude that uploaded, he's not the one that made it.
Yeah, well, he probably in credits he's probably gets the credit. So
yeah, that is true. There's also how before the movie was deleted entirely off of his channel, it was like soft banned, where if you clicked on it, it would give you a warning saying that that this had inappropriate information or something like that, and that you couldn't comment on the video or share it or whatever. Well, that's the same thing has happened to a re-upload of the movie on someone else's channel, which makes me think that it's going to be deleted soon, just like on Francis's channel. And the fact that they're going so far as to deleting it so many times goes to show just how relevant the information actually is, and that it's
of course it does.
Nonsense.
Yeah, exactly so.
It's ridiculous. Freaking YouTube. It's like, I don't understand. It's like, no matter how many times YouTube bites people in the ass, they continue to support it and continue to keep on like begging for monetization or for people to subscribe to them, and it's ridiculous. It's like if someone like PewDiePie or someone or Sean or someone like that were to actually one day just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to tell my audience about all this stuff that actually does matter. Things would actually change. All these kids that watch these YouTube channels, they would actually get a clue, and you know, they wouldn't just be sitting there watching, you know, someone talking shit on a video game for most of the time they're awake during the day. It's ridiculous, but of course it's not going to happen.
Never going to happen. Of course it's not going to happen. Why would it happen? Why? If you've got a fucking good deal going on and you're making your fucking money, why are you going to be the one to fucking remove the curtain? You're not, are you?
Exactly. He's not going to.
Because you're afraid of what will happen afterwards. You can have fend for yourself then. You know, these media people, afterwards, when it's all come about and we all know who's to blame, because they will know who's to blame. It's going to be the media are the number one to blame. I don't give a fuck, because they are the people. What do they call it when you've got an addict and somebody helps them and buys them heroin? What they call it?
A feeder.
No, they call it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, don't you? Come on, someone say it in the chat room, please. They call it. You're a
not provider.
Not provider. No, you're a
accessory to the fact.
No. Yeah,
get in there. One word.
What?
Facilitator.
Facilitator. Yes.
Yeah.
Facilitating it. That's it. Yeah, and do you know what? After we've trying to fucking work out, you know, that word, I forgot what we're talking about.
Oh, but I did want to bring up though. Do you know who Neville Chamberlain is?
Yes, of course we do.
Okay, this might seem random, but I wanted to ask, what do you think of him?
Well, it was all right. He always used to get his round in, you know. And when we played pool, you know, he was always there. He never ducked out of a round, and he always pulled his weight and everything. And
no, I mean the Prime Minister.
Oh right. Oh, I thought you were talking about Neville Chamberlain, the kid who I went to school with, who died aged 25 in a tragic motorcycle accident after bullying me. No, I don't. I really don't know. All I know is about him is he was Prime Minister when the Second World War started, and I do believe he was the Prime Minister that tried to appease Hitler.
Yes.
So he tried to appease Hitler, which I think is a fucking good maneuver. I mean, you don't want a war, do you? For fuck's sake. Last thing you want to do is unless it's not you that's getting killed or anybody that you know, which isn't in any of these cases. So that's why it's so easy to fucking go to war. You know, if they go themselves,
then they're going to be the ones suffering.
No, I had this the other day when a long time ago. Sorry. This was something I used to say all the time when back in the old days of Raconteurs news, when I had old Randy and, we were talking about stuff. And I'd say this. When politicians, when they vote to go to war, right, all the people, if they go to war and they vote to go to war, all the people that vote to go to war are assigned a number. And then when every British soldier is killed, a number is pulled out of a tombola and that corresponding politician is killed as well. They'd soon fucking stop. That corresponding politician to that number, you pull a number out, that politician voted yes for this war, we're going to kill him because, you know, an eye for an eye. They're killing our kids. They're killing our children. They're killing our people. They're taking these people that just don't know exactly what they're getting themselves into because they're at such an early age, and then they either conform or they're gone. They're done. The life's done.
And the reason why
they've done it for fucking 3 years.
And the reason why I brought it up is because I've been looking into I've been actually listening to World War II radio broadcasts from the time when the war started and some just before that. And I just think to myself, the whole time, Hitler, to me, at least from what I've seen, I'm not an expert, so I might be wrong, but to me, Hitler seemed like he genuinely just wanted to bring Germany back to the way it was before the Treaty of Versailles. At least that's how I feel. I mean, he obviously didn't go about it the right way, but like that's how I personally feel that he genuinely wanted to help his country, and that's why that they ended up needing him to fade away. Because and about what you said about the kids going to war and stuff, when I was thinking about the people who went to war, the soldiers in World War I, they came back and they had children, and then those same children are the ones who are being sent out to fight in World War II. And it just makes you think, how are these parents so gullible enough that they went to war themselves? Why are they so willing to send their own kids to go through the same hardships that they did? It just makes no sense. Like, for example, when Neville Chamberlain comes on and says, we are at war with Germany, I'm just like, no, you're not at war. You want us to be at war, but we could all just say, no, fuck you. We're not gonna fight. You can fight your own battles.
Did you think that at the time?
Well, that's what I think that people should. People should have been like. It's like, oh, we're at war with Germany. Like, okay, says who? Says some guy sitting in an office in some fancy mansion. Says, oh, we have to go to war. I'm like, who said that? I don't know. I guess I'm kind of rambling, but it's just ridiculous. Like, these politicians think they speak for their people, but these people, most of them don't even give a damn about them. The only ones that vote.
Just think about this, right? Just think about this. It's just World War II is we've got Hitler and he's rebuilt Germany, and it's a huge power source, and it's manufacturing, and its economy's just been absolutely boosted since Hitler came into power, right? And then we've got this part of with this part of Germany which was taken as part of the Treaty of Versailles. To be Polish, to be deemed Polish, and Adolf Hitler went and took that back because Germans that were living in that land were being murdered, right? So he went and took that back. So fucking Hitler, right? Look, he didn't want war. He didn't want war. Who wants fucking war, really? Seriously,
Exactly.
Who wants war? I mean,
all he wanted, the only reason he declared war on Poland in the first place was because they wouldn't give him back the pieces of Germany that were stolen from Germany from the Treaty of Versailles. Hitler was like, just give us back the stuff that was taken from us, and we'll let bygones be bygones.
But I mean, just imagine these days. Let me just try and see if I get it. Just imagine these days if there was conscription. Can you imagine it? You got these. How many transsexuals would we have then? We have fucking loads, wouldn't we? All males over a certain age, have got to be in army and that for a while.
And so, oh no, I'm sorry. I identify as a penguin.
Yeah.
So when they declared war, right? When they declared war, Britain declared war on Germany, didn't they? So when they declared war, do you think Chamberlain, he went up to Queen and he says, "Now then, they fucked us about a lot. I think we should go to war. You're not going to like it. It's your country, but you can let bygones be bygones afterwards, can't you? We'll still let you get up gold and riches from this country after if we win and that. But if not, then you'll be back in your own with your own people, and you'll be able to speak your own language again." And Queen goes, "Yeah, one says yes, we can. We shall go to war with Germany. I am not German. I am not 999. I am not a German."
Well, technically at the time it was actually a king, not it was the Queen's father, King George VI.
Yeah, possibly. All right. Well, a bit of poetic license, a bit of artistic license here, Taylor. I think is a bit deserved. Yeah. Okay, Queen. All right, yeah, but Queen might have been there She might have been there and said that, but she just weren't queen yet.
Yeah,
Like-
I wonder how. Actually, I wonder how old she would have been at the time. How old is she now? Like 90 something.
Yeah, I think she was born in 1926, I think. I think that's the year she was born. Anybody in chat room can tell me if they want to.
That means she would have been old enough to actually go off and fight, but of course the king would never let his, daughter, his precious little daughter, go off to fight. But everyone else can send their kids off to fight. Perfectly fine, right?
Mm.
Because they're just more empty, more useless, useless air breathers.
Useless heaters. Don't tell him, Pike. In the chat room was said is if EU declares war against whoever, UK citizens would be conscripted. Fucking not me, are they? Not having me, are they? Nah, we're not bothering him. You can go.
You mean the draft, right?
Realtor, yeah. Well, yeah, the draft, yeah. It's conscription in this country because we can, we're better than, we can deal with more consonants. No, sorry, not consonants. What's the word? Syllables. No, what's the word?
Syllables.
Basically, you guys are smarter than we are.
That what they used to do that on. They used to go that 2 syllables. Remember,
Charades.
2 syllables.
Yeah.
First syllable.
Yeah, I have noticed that the UK in general is more mature and just smarter in general than America. Like most Americans have been dumbed down so much to the point of it's just ridiculous.
Americans in general are much more excitable than English people or even British people. You could say, I don't know, Americans, it might be sunny tomorrow. Oh my God, we might be sunny tomorrow. And they just seem to get really excited. And I think that excitability overruns the stuff that's right in front of them.
Exactly.
And I think that's why there's more English people can get hold of this stuff and actually absorb it than American.
Yeah, it's the same thing with, say, the war on terror. America pretty much started that. It's like, 9/11 happened. Bush said it was Saddam Hussein that had weapons of mass destruction. Let's go to Iraq. Or, Japan attacks Pearl Harbor. We're not going to ask how it happened, why it happened, just, it happened. President Roosevelt says that we have declared war on Japan. And we're not going to question it. We're just going to go along with it.
Yeah.
And, oh, sorry.
No, go on.
President Roosevelt, though, I personally think he's probably, at least I will say he's much better than, say, George Bush. That's not saying much, though. Because at the very least, I mean, he got 4 terms, which he's the only president in history that's ever gotten more than 2 terms.
Who's got what? More than 2 parents?
No. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was the only president in history to get more than 2 terms. He had 4 terms, though he only lived for like a couple months in his 4th term.
4
President Roosevelt?
Did he say 4
term?
Oh, 4 terms. I wish he'd just stay close to his mic and not move his head about and that.
Sorry. Sorry, it's
It sounded to me like you were saying 4, some or others, but not what you said.
Yeah, I said 4 terms, presidential terms.
Right, 4 terms. Okay, so that would who?
President Franklin Roosevelt. He was president from 1933 through 45, but he started his 4th term in 45, but he died a few months after his 4th term started.
Which president was it whose wife was called Lady Bird?
Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, I thought it were. Yeah.
One of my personal most disgusting presidents. I can't stand Lyndon Johnson.
Oh no! Lyndon Johnson was a right wanker, weren't he? Top fucking wanker. I mean, for God's sake.
And yet, there's a lot of people that like to praise him for he helped the civil rights movement. He helped black people. He didn't do nothing for the black people.
No. They don't. Nobody
And
ever
then you
does.
get
They all stand there and they all go, "Oh, this, that, and other. We need to change this. We need to change that. We need to change other." And then if you point out to them, "Hang on a minute. If you change all these things that you're fucking going to change, you want to change, then you don't exist anymore. You haven't got your 50, 60, 70,000 pound salary a year for a fucking four days a week, out of every month, and you know." They don't want to do it. So it's simple. All you got to do is look at how people are greedy, how people are manipulative, how people will stab each other in back, and that's sort of inbuilt into us to stab people in back to try and get higher than somebody else, to try and financially have more stuff, or fucking stuff. I mean, what stuff? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
That's how you rise. That's how you rise higher in the political / business world. You have to step over everyone else and be a ruthless tyrant. That's how Donald Trump got all his money. And of course, mafia assistance as well. You can't forget about that. There is one president though that I just laugh at the fact that he was even president. And that's Gerald Ford. I'm just like, who even remembers this man? He was only president for 2 years because Richard Nixon, resigned. Like, no one remembers this man at all.
Yeah, the point that you were making before, I think I've said this before on this show, but not for a long time. I've got a cousin who's quite high up in BP. He's very high up. He's fucking really, really high up. Anyway, he was going for a job. It was. I think it was something to do with the Gulf of Mexico media team, right? And so he went for a job, and I think he was on $800,000 a year in the job that he was in, and he went for another job which would increase his pay tenfold. Now, so he would be on $8 million a year. So,
wow.
And this story always sticks in my mind because I've just thought to myself, and this is just how this is just the sort of thing that these psychopaths like to do. And what happened is I remember him coming over because I saw him when he came over, and he got this meeting in London, this interview for this job, just basically. So there's two of them interviewing for this really top job, and the first one went in and he did his interview and he did okay. And when our my cousin Steve, when he went in, he presented the people in front of him with not only the fact that he could do the job, but also that he could remove the two jobs behind him. So in other words, the other bloke who was in there, if he didn't he'd be out of a job because he'd found a way. He'd got a way of making it all into a system where they wouldn't need two people. So he said that those two jobs wouldn't even exist anymore. The jobs that they've got wouldn't exist anymore. And so it would be done by someone lower, I think. So he'd gone in and he told them not how he wanted a job, but just how he would be able to make it work for them. The loser $800,000 a year, that job's just gone. It's just disappeared. That's just savings, that's just cash. And he got a job, and he's on $8 million a year. And $8 million, sorry, which works out at about 160,000 quid a week. I don't know how anybody could fucking deal with that. But
that's your cousin?
Yes, my cousin. Yeah, I grew up with him. We made slopdosh pies and all sorts together when we were kids.
And he doesn't help you at all?
Oh no! I wouldn't want him to anyway. Why? Why would I want him to? He's my cousin. He's not to do. He's just family. I don't help. Why would I want help?
It's just to me, family should stick together. Like with the situation that you're going through, I feel like that it's a family.
He didn't know all about my situation. It's a million miles away from where he is. Look, I don't even. Well, I wouldn't want it anyways. It's oil. It's blood money. So I wouldn't want it. So that'll be that. So. Yeah, but what I'm saying is he went in and he got the job because he was able to remove another job and get that all covered by different departments. He's got ways where it could be all covered by different departments. So not only did he get the job, he also got the guy who was the other guy who was up for the job. he lost his job because our Steve had come up with a way to get to, so they didn't need that position filling. And that's the sort of people, you know, that we're dealing with. That they'll do anything at all.
Ruthless.
We'll fuck over the fucking own grandmother for a fucking for a chip butty and a large sandwich.
Listen, my food's about to go ping.
All right, mate. I think we should ding anyway because I'm knackered.
Yeah, I've not had food yet. So listen, feel free to carry on, and I'm going to cut and run. It's literally ding, ding, ding. Be safe. Speak to you soon.
All right, mate. See you next time, mate.
Cheers.
Yeah. See you later, Ade.
Take it easy, Ade. All right then, Taylor. Right, I'm gonna get off and all.
Wait, before we go.
Let me get
one last thing.
Let me get a drink first.
Okay.
Oh, dear me.
Let me see if I can see the live chat. Live comments.
Go on then.
Well, there are a couple of things I did want to say, and that's first of all, there was I mentioned I texted to you on Skype about a few weeks ago. There was this live show. There was this channel that would upload live. Not live, but like upload radio broadcasts from like 80 years ago during the World War II days. And I was listening to him, and I was like talking in the live chat, just basically like, just basically saying my stuff, saying how how Hitler, there was a lot of like stuff not told to us about Hitler and stuff like that, and about how how Prescott Bush and Henry Ford and all them completely funded the whole Nazi regime in the first place. And the thing is, the guy got pissed. And he made a community post on his channel, basically saying that anyone who starts posting conspiracy stuff is going to be banned without any warning given. Like, and I just said to myself, wow, and I just left the channel right there. I'm just like, wow, really? You're that butthurt that I'm.
Well, it appears we've lost Taylor. That's unfortunate. But anyway, listen, thanks to everyone who's been listening to us tonight. Thanks to Ade. Thanks to Taylor as well. He got drunk. Yeah, I think he got drunk. Yeah, that's probably what happened. Neil Bean said, Ron Malcolm, I guess they are sweet babies when they were born, and then something happened. Probably a response from some I can't see at the moment. But anyway, thanks to everyone. I'm going to sign off. I'll be back just as soon as I can. All right. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And give some comments as well. Like comments. I'll start replying to them now.